So Texas did this. The governor of Texas issued an executive order lifting the mandate for masks and opening up Texas 100%. So don't mess with Texas unless you're Texas. I guess you can do that. Keith Olbermann. This is amazing. He says, why are we wasting vaccinations on Texas if Texas has decided to join the side of the virus? He should just rename his show the Ivory Tower of Douchebag.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people in Texas who need the vaccine. There's a lot of people in Texas who don't agree with the governor's decision. That's why? Because it's the compassionate thing to do? Because it's the smart thing to do? Because what the F? Your brain is just a festering pile of maggots and shit at this point, huh? Yep. Well, hopefully it will prevent the deaths of Texans who have nothing to do with these decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like grocery clerks and school teachers or bus drivers or waitstaff or nurses and doctors or retail workers, Keith. Those would be the people, you know, all the people who maybe at one time used to like you. He's a news guy. Keith Olbermann is a news guy, and someone needs to tell him this shit. Not Keith Olbermann, more like Keith went nuts as he got older, man. Here's another one of my favorite progressives. Michael Moore did the same thing. Texas, we hear you. You didn't want to be part of our electrical grid, and now you've removed your mask mandate and are allowing large crowds to gather. We hear you. COVID is a hoax, so you don't need our precious vaccine. We'll send it to people who are saving lives by wearing masks. It's got 39,000 likes. What is wrong with people? I know what's wrong. So what Michael Moore keeps doing, when you're like, why is Michael Moore an extra asshole today, right? So what that is him desperately trying to get invited back on MSNBC and get Hillary voters and Joe Biden voters to like him. That's what he does. He does this stupid. That's why he did Russiagate. That's why he didn't say anything when they were slandering a veteran, a currently serving soldier on MSNBC, slandering them as a Russian agent or an enemy of our country. And he didn't say anything. This is nuts. This is what the left has. And I like this guy's movies, and this is the shit he does. He's disgusting. Marianne Williams says, many families live there, Michael, like many millions of other Texans. They neither voted Republican nor agreed with their agenda. There's no monolithic Texas. He knows that. He's doing that for cheap clicks, likes, and the fucking Hillary voters liking him. That's what this is. So maybe you should, maybe we should shame the people in Flint too, right, Michael, who had nothing to do with the privatization of their water?
No kidding.
Right? Because that's how much sense you make in that fucking tweet, you idiot. Well, I guess the people of Flint don't care about clean water, so why should we send them a vaccine? Is that what you think? That's how dumb you sound. Here's Pat the Burner. He says there's no excuse for not understanding the concept that non-Republicans live in red states. Regardless, we should care about people, period. All the libs liking and sharing this tweet should be embarrassed. I agree with Pat the Burner. Michael loses the libs whenever he makes a movie, and then he fights to get them back with tweets like this. That's exactly, there you got it. She's got it. That's exactly right. Brian says, come on, man, I expect better from you. How would you feel if someone said this about Michigan? There's plenty of Republicans there, too. Keith Olbermann, back to Keith Olbermann. This is how bad Keith Olbermann has gotten. Can you close that door? This is how bad Keith Olbermann has gotten. I have a horrible neighbor who doesn't take care of her dogs. She never walks them, and she's a nurse, and she just leaves them out in her backyard all day and night, and they bark, and they're lonely, and they're not taken care of, and then they die, and then she gets new dogs. They don't live long. She's not good. Anyway, Keith Olbermann says, gotta say, I've lived my entire life with the stain of Russian heritage in my family. What? Then came their conspiracy to alter the 2016 election. A year later, they hacked my computer. But now they've attacked my boy Panarian, so I'll make it official. Fuck you, Vladimir Putin. Are you kidding me? Did you really just say that Russians are bad people, like they're being born a Russian? That's a stain? That the heritage of Say that about any other. I mean, talk about a guy whose brain has been rotted out. Keith, go to bed. Start taking your dinner at 4 p.m. and just go to sleep. The fuck is wrong with you, you fucking maniac? You're just as big a maniac as any of those people you claim to hate. You're just as big a maniac as Rush Limbaugh. You're just as big a maniac as Glenn Beck, as Sean Hannity. You're just as unhinged and as lunatic and as destructive to this country and world. That's nuts. That you're creating a culture where you can get away with shit like that? Put anybody else in there. I've lived my entire life with the stain of my Jewish heritage, with the stain of my Irish heritage, with the stain of my Mexican heritage, with the stain of my Palestinian heritage. Anybody else? What a maniac. And he is a maniac. Here he is pushing an evidence-free conspiracy theory about the president at the top of his lungs, something that didn't happen.
We are at war with Russia. Or perhaps more correctly, we have lost a war with Russia without a battle. We are no longer a sovereign nation. We are no longer a democracy. We are no longer a free people. We are the victims of a bloodless coup. So far, a bloodless coup engineered by Russia, which if we did it to another country would be described as an act of war. And in this country, we have conceded defeat. The nation and all of our freedoms hang by a thread, and the military apparatus of this country is about to be handed over to scum who are beholden to scum, Russian scum. As things are today, January 20th will not be an inauguration, but rather the end of the United States as an independent country. It will not be a peaceful change of power. It will be a usurpation.
So if you said that today about the last election, he'd be kicked off YouTube. Just so you know, you can't say that about Joe Biden's election. But you could say that about Donald Trump's election, and they did for 4 straight years. You could sound like that big of a fucking raging maniac. But if you said anything like that about the 2020 election, you would get your YouTube channel taken down, you get kicked off Twitter, you get kicked off Facebook, your Instagram would be gone. But he could say that about the 2016 election. Keith Olbermann, thank you for your bravery, sir. That's the I lost my mind and I'm going to use a flag as a straitjacket look. And he didn't have any friends to tell him how shitty that looked. He didn't have any friends to tell him how shitty that looked. That looks like something, literally, that looks like something Glenn Beck would do. And if you look at it from a distance, it looks like a really shitty Christmas card. That's what's wrong with this country. That's that he's not identifying problems. He's scapegoating another country's ethnicity for our problems. And he scapegoats a whole state. It's just that's so those people need to go away. Those people had their brains broken by Donald Trump. Michael Moore, Keith Olbermann, Cenk Uygur did the same shit. And it's because Trump is in their shadow. You know how they say, Jungian psychologist says, whoever you get triggered by the most, that's because they're in you. Hey, he's upset that a narcissistic megalomaniac became president. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.